Hello everyone, this is Orlando from A Collector's Dream. And today I want to talk a little bit about what I was talking about on my walk the other day. And that was oddball cards, the word oddball. And it all came from a conversation that Mangini and Sammy and I did, just a text conversation where, Sammy was just kind of, poking fun at things and stuff like that. And then, I'm thinking, I had never really heard of oddball cards. Personally, it was just, for me, it's just, like I said in my walk, a card is a card. And, some people say that a card that is not Topps or Bowman is an oddball card, I guess. But, someone that, like me, that comes from really originally another country, and you look at, I studied, English here, of course, and, you formally look at the terms and you look at the words. And so I pull out my trusty old, and it's old, the 9th edition of the Merriam-Webster dictionary. So I'm going to look up the word oddball and see what the meaning of oddball is, and it's right over here. So let's take a look and see what they say oddball is. So odd, and it talks about odd point of land, odd numbered, and all that. And then underneath it talks about oddball. So oddball is invented in 1945. I think that was invented by Rick himself, because he's old. So I think Rick came up with this word. So it is one that is eccentric, is an oddball. Now, doesn't that sound like Rick? So that's the definition of oddball. One that is eccentric. That's it. So what does that mean for cards? Are cards eccentric? No. So for me, I go back to a card is a card. So is this an oddball card? No, this is a 1948 Topps Magic of Honus Wagner. It's a card. Is this an oddball card? It's not a Topps or Bowman, but no, it's Tattoo Orbit 1933 R305. Is this an oddball card? No, it's not. It's just another card. It's a different card. It's a 1928 Yinglings ice cream card. How about this? Is that a card? An oddball card? No, it's just a different kind of card. It's a 1926-27 Aguilitas. And sometimes they call like the food issues cards or oddballs. Is this an oddball? No, it's a Kellogg's card. It's still a card. They're cards. To me, a card is a card. And I think if somebody doesn't know what it is, they may call it an oddball, an eccentric card. Is it an eccentric card? I don't know, but that's the definition. How about this? Another food one. Jimmy Dean sausage. Jimmy Dean, is this an oddball card? No, it's a card from Jimmy Dean sausage. How about another food issue here? Jumbo, California sunflower seeds. Ken Griffey. Another oddball? How about another oddball? Post cereal. Ken Griffey, another oddball card. They're cards. They're just cards. They're just cards. And here's another card. Toys R Us. Just another card. They're all cards. That's all they are. Different types of cards, different brands of cards, different kinds of cards. And if they're not actual cards, they're exhibit cards, they're postcards, they could be any kind, but to me they're cards. So what I want to do is that's my opinion. So I wanted to share some of the opinions of some of the other guys that have commented on my video. So let's take a look at some of the comments on my last video when I was walking and talking. So here's, these are all friends of mine. So Fast Breaks and Breakfast says, haha, I'm on Rick's team on this one. if you're offended by the term oddball, you may be a little odd yourself, all in good fun. Because I was saying that, would you be offended if you were a card and you were called, an oddball? I mean, I was just kidding around, but I thought that was just some fun to share, So thanks for your video of oddball cards. I really appreciate the scenery. Insofar as oddball cards go, I agree. They are just cards, no more, no less. That's Peter. Now Hodges made a great comment over here too. Gave a video a like. I like the term oddball when used in the context of cards, objects, items, and humans. People are different. Oddball is an endearing term when spoken about cards for me. It is a short way of saying food issue, etc., and still have others know what you're referring to. So if you collect these non-mainstream card sets, the terms help people know what you're referring to quickly. Yeah, but I would rather say this is a jumbo sunflower seeds, Ken Griffey Jr., not an oddball. So back to him. He says, speaking in short general terms regarding items, objects like cards is nice and endearing to me. Always enjoy your videos. So Winston, like his live stream, Mr. Mangini. So let's read up on Mr. Mangini's here. Our T206 oddballs, E-cards, Cracker Jacks, American Caramel, Tattoo Orbits, Oxford Confectionery, 33 and 34 Goudy, T207s, our Allen and Ginter oddballs. How about Dandy or Red Heart or 58 Hires Root Beer? I should have brought my Hires Root Beer. How about 49 Leaf or 41 Playball? Wilson Franks, Mayo Cuts. How about 1910 1910 Sporting Life? Are they oddball? If most of the card sets ever made were oddball, then by definition, they can't be unusual or different. They're actually the norm. Mangini, thank you, sir. Very, very well said on that one. So back to the comments. Let's see here. We got Mark. I kind of like the term oddball cards. Plus, if we change the term, Rick will have to change the name of his channel. Yeah, he will. But I've got a name for Rick's channel already, and it's Oddball Rick's Vintage Cards, because he's eccentric, so we can call him oddball. So Oddball Rick's Vintage Cards, because we know they're cards, we know what they are. So here we go, Star Huddle. Well, I agree with the term oddball. Maybe unnecessary. I also see its existence as a byproduct of the antithesis of the normal cards, coming from a pack that has been the norm since 1952. Many of the cards deemed oddball are usually not mainstream and thus may not need to provide a designation as such. I look at cards taken off cereal boxes. There we go, part of cereal. Cereal boxes, hot dog packs, in bags of chips, etc. as non-mainstream. As a non-mainstream way of being acquired, so the necessity to designate them differently isn't a stretch in my opinion. Maybe the term oddball is outdated, yeah, because Rick is old, or maybe even strangely offensive to some. At the end of the day, a card is a card. That's the bottom line. That's what I'm trying to get to. Bottom line is a card is a card. And the method by which it was obtained or procured may deserve at least a mention. But yeah, the term oddball is the new iconic as far as taboo in the hobby. Appreciate your walk and talk. Great comments there. And yeah, they may deserve a mention, but the mention is by the name, 1928 Yingling's ice cream card, which is what they label it. When PSA starts putting 1928 Yingling's oddball, then maybe I'll consider using that a little bit more often. So I think Blix has one of the best comments on here. And it's a long one, but we're gonna go ahead and take a look at Blix here. So this has been a passionate topic. The human side, well, There are many cultures and skin colors, but only one race under God, technically, the human race. As a result, we all need the exact same things to survive, regardless of our origin and ancestry, place of birth, lineage, etc. Cards have a similar life. Most are made of cardboard or something else fairly thin. Don't like light or other elements, have different regions, distribution methods, or origins they come from. Are universally collectible, and most of all, do not feed them after midnight. But realistically, I get it. Argument against term oddball. So oddball is arguably unnecessary in the fact that they already technically have established the titles: food issue, regional, police, test, hand cut, W series, E series, T series, panel, top flagship, etc. Now my argument against taking it away entirely is because it is used without malice in most cases I've seen, and even as sometimes lovingly referred to as oddball. That's true. Or a simple lack of knowledge or what to call them can also be an issue. And I think that's a great point there. A lack of knowledge, so they just call them an oddball. I think many people just haven't learned the correct terms yet, so they throw them into one category to make it simple. I don't think it's out of disrespect most of the time. It's my point, but I do get it, that being a pet peeve for sure. I have so many of those myself, so enjoy the walk. So anyway, that's a great comment there, where the way he refers it to here. So let's another thought here from my buddy TJ Mack. Is Rick changing his name? Does the larger hobby even call them that? The first time I ever heard the term was from Rick's name, and I've been collecting most of my adult life. Think it's an endearing term. They are cards, not people. Yeah. And I think really a lot of people say this is the first time that maybe Rick did invent that term. So here's Picker Jim. It says, "Hi Orlando, I always love hearing you talk about the hobby and appreciate, but I respectfully disagree with you here. To me, oddball is a respectful word and means unique, different, unusual, or out of the ordinary. I don't mind it. Oddball cards has its place in the hobby, same as pre-war and vintage, modern, junk rock, etc. Thanks for sharing your thoughts." So I just wanted to share some of the thoughts that other people had when I talked about the oddball cards, and just kind of was just trying to make some conversation as I walked and kind of get some opinions from people there as to what they thought of oddball. Because really, when I was growing, I never really heard that term really applied to cards before. So for me, kind of Rick was the one that came up with it. And the dictionary says that it's an eccentric, it's to describe an eccentric person. And that does describe Rick to me. He is a little bit of an oddball, but of course, in a great way. We love Rick. He's an awesome, awesome guy with probably one of the best collections that I've ever seen in my life. And I do think that the reason they're called oddball is because someone doesn't know exactly what the name of the card is, and then they'll call it an oddball card. But overall, the more people learn about cards and the more you learn about the different sets, I think, you don't call it oddball as much. Even Rick doesn't call his cards oddball anymore. So thanks for watching, guys. Please share your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Just having some fun today. Have an awesome, awesome day. This is Orlando from My Collector's Dream. Catch you on the next one.